When I left church and religious fundamentalist Christianity, I realized that Christianity seems to consistently teach its members that women should feel lucky if their spouse shows the bare minimum of interest and respect, while expecting women to give 150% well above bare minimum, with getting very little in return. You ever read Christian romance books or Christian marriage counseling books? You notice how most of the relationship success and turnaround is put on women? How you should entice your husband to respect you and treat you better because you put on a negligee, while Christian husbands have to go to work, love their wives, clean the gutters, and make sure to make it home by 8 p.m. every day. The bare minimum. No frosting, no whipped cream, just the bare minimum. A chair is there and takes up space, but we don't want a personality of a chair. And yet, every Christian book I've ever read about marriage, relationships, whether romantic or platonic, are extremely patriarchally misogynistic. Whenever they talk about men in chapters focused entirely on men, they always make it about how women failed somehow. Even in chapters where they're teaching men how to be better husbands, somehow they blame it on women. They talk to women about, this is what you can do so your husband does this for you. They always make it about how women are the reason men don't treat you better. Instead of, men, treat your wives 3 times as better as you are right now. Stop staring at other women when your wife is around. That's the bare minimum, not to stare at other women when your wife is looking at you. Instead, don't look at women. Show respect. Make her feel like she's the best thing that's ever happened to you, and consistently give evidence of the fact. Just not looking at women is the bare minimum of what a monogamous relationship looks like. Personally, I don't believe in monogamy. I think it's stupid. But some people make it work. I think you set yourself up for disappointment, lies, cheating, and just a dissolution of a good relationship by completely removing any sexual excitement, you're basically narrowing down what you want to do. That's why I'm the kind of person, I want to find a partner, platonic or romantic, that wants to be as open about things as I do. I don't want to nail myself in or write myself into a corner, because that's not going to serve me well. Why do you think 1 out of 4 marriages, hetero-cis marriages, after 10 years is sexless? Because they've written themselves into a corner, and unless you want to break gender or social norms, it's almost impossible to get that spark of excitement back. That's why I would live my life with as few rules as possible. And monogamy only works for people who have an unrealistic idea of what relationships are. And if that works for you, fine. I don't care what people do. But society, instead of worshiping monogamy, we should be focusing on relationship dynamics where people are comfortable and safely and lovingly given license to explore the things that are important to them. And if that's ethical non-monogamy, fine. If it's an open relationship, fine. Make sure that you have ground rules, you have consent, and that if the other person is not comfortable, they can change the relationship dynamics as long as it's a mutual thing. The whole problem is women do the majority of emotional and physical labor in the home and in the relationship. Men just have to show up and perform, depending on what part of the house you're in. Women, they have to show up hours before. They have to decorate, clean, prepare, spend money getting hair removed. They have to perform like a porn star. And you have a 1 in 4 chance in being satisfied. And if you don't get satisfied, well, good luck next time. Being a cis heterosexual woman is rough. It is rough. It is the orientation with the lowest satisfaction in life, in relationships, and in intimacy. And that's because cis heterosexual women, they're only seen by men as transactional beings to get things from. They're not seen as human beings. I mean, gay men treat themselves better than cis heterosexual men treat women. And if your idea of showing you care is something that you put as little thought into as flowers and candy, your relationship might continue and may exist your whole life, but she's not going to be satisfied. Pretty sure about that. Relationships are about mutual pursuit. And when women, I honestly believe that most marriages exist and continue and endure because women slowly kill their emotional and psychological self. And hetero relationships are like a hanging. Personally, I'd rather take the hanging. Hanging is quick, fast, and over. Heterosexual, cis, sexist marriages, they slowly strangle the woman and her identity away. That's why women initiate 70% of divorces. Who the hell would want a relationship with somebody when they want an award and want a special recognition for showing up? Imagine taking a college class and expecting an A because you just show up. No, you have to put in tremendous effort. And women, by and large, lose most of their identity, their happiness, their sanity, sometimes their own health, to make a relationship that really doesn't satisfy them sort of work. Relationships are like cars. You have to take care of it. You have to fix parts that don't work. You have to have a tuned ear to know when the car doesn't run properly. But women seem to be the mechanics of their own relationship. And it's tragic. No wonder women stop having sex drives. Or it's so diminished they just don't want sex at all. Women are used to being abused, used, ignored, replaced. And if they even voice their desires and dissatisfaction, there's still a stigma around sexually evolved, sexually confident women who have autonomy and agency and advocate for themselves. There's still a stigma. And it's tragic. Women should not have to advocate for themselves this much. And if relationships and sex are like going to a doctor who doesn't listen to you, doesn't care, and makes you feel bad for having your own diary to record the symptoms they don't care and won't even investigate, why go to the doctor? And the relationships I have with my family, there's no emotional depth. There's no compassion. There's no empathy. And if that is what hetero relationships that are platonic are like, I don't want to find out what the romantic ones are like. And the tears, the unhappiness, the resignation that women in Baptist Christian churches have, it's heartbreaking. Because they've been brainwashed their whole life to believe you can't leave. And if a relationship doesn't work, well, just try harder instead of get a different partner or just focus on yourself. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, but women deserve more than a broken clock. You deserve more than weaponized incompetence and just disrespect and gaslighting. If your relationship makes you feel drained, makes you feel disrespected, unheard, silenced, ridiculed, where you feel like whatever you do isn't appreciated, acknowledged, or addressed, and the other person doesn't even meet your emotional labor, and it's so much less than what you give, why are you wasting years of your life on somebody who will never appreciate you? And it's really their loss, and it has nothing to do with you. They're just a broken person. I would rather be alone with possibilities, free time somewhat, to pursue the interests that actually give me emotional connection, than be in a heterosexual marriage where there's a 9 out of 10 chance that I will be miserable, lonely, neglected. If anything pushes women toward having affairs or getting divorced, it's getting married to a toxic masculine man. And in the next 50 years, I would love to see the data for queer marriages and partnerships. I wonder if they experience more satisfaction. I've heard that people who are more open and non-traditional have more satisfaction and happiness than women who conform to gender roles.